and today we're taking a preview of the new world. So let me introduce you to the host, Lipstickpaddy. Well, hello. This is the first video on the channel. I'm going to be covering a bit of the new world as it's coming into preview. It's coming into a closed beta, which is pretty cool. It's in closed alpha at the minute, and it's a bit of controversy knocking around this one, but you know, we say beta is beta, so we say alpha. Stop complaining, alpha's terrible anyway. So wait for the beta, and if there's problems in the beta, beta is beta, wait for release. So everyone calm down, you headless chickens. It's like you're all snowflakes melting. Oh, calm down everybody. Anyway, why am I doing this video? Well, we are going to be covering some of screenshots that people are missing, which are confirming details which are not in the alpha, which we can come to expect in the beta. So we will be looking at them, and also I'll be telling you about the other stuff that's in the game that make this game stand out from the rest of the MMOs, and why I'm mega excited for this title. Ooh, so good. Just to let you know, there's more content coming, as this is the first on the channel. We'll be covering all the gems from E3 in the next fortnight, and we have a sister channel which is based on Kickstarter board games. If you're interested, I'll just put a bit of a plug here. I cover that channel too. But let's crack on with the main event today, which is the new world. Now I want to start off with this picture which is on the Facebook page, and it pretty much confirms that we're going to see NPCs in the towns. And yes, it is looking rather cool. I don't think these are players, to be honest, come on. And we can see people knocking around here, so this is pretty much confirmed AI in the towns. And what a beautiful shot this is of the game, with the bunting up ahead. All the ivy flowers on the buildings. The attention to detail here is great, showing off the lumberyard engine here, which is of course the next generation CryEngine, as they took over it when CryEngine were bottom lining. So it is looking beautiful. I love the draw distance as well. If you look to the top left here, you can see a mountain in the distance, which is looking fabulous. I look forward to the draw distance details in the game and all that stuff. Well, the NPCs don't look to be standing. A lot of them look like they're walking around, which means AI behavior, which is also good as well. And the NPC here, one of the faction, shouting for one of the factions in the game with a map in his hand. I don't think he's going to be silent. He's either going to have words over his head or he's going to be speaking. So I do expect some voice acting in it, which is not in the alpha. Yeah, it's pretty normal in alpha that you don't get that anyway, because it's they usually do voice acting in the latter half of the game design. So that might not even come in until release, but I do expect NPCs to have voices. Anyway, it all looks super cool from this one. Let's go to our next shot. I just want to bring this one up because it is weather effects, which is very, very cool. And with the weather effect here, if you look at the guy's feather in the hat, it seems to be drooping here as if it's got wet and flopped down. Now the feather is normally up in the hat, so this is just a bit of a rumor from me. And also the cloth texture behind him, the red banner there, that also looks like it's getting wet as well because of a deeper color at the bottom where all the wetness is getting to. Like your jeans in the water get wet when go darker when they're wet. So who knows? What's interesting here is though that we're getting kind of rain, but it's looking bright up ahead. So it might be clearing. It looks like a thunderstorm in that case, brushing across. And I'm wondering, does the weather move from east to west on the map, which is pretty cool. And we might see a nifty rainbows and stuff like that as well. And I look forward to the night-day cycle and the weather effects in the game. I do. And again, we can see the draw distance here, even though the weather is kind of closing draw distance because of localized map, you know, the local area. We are seeing distant stuff here, like the lighthouse up above, which there are many on the coast from the trailers and stuff like that. So it is looking very, very cool. And yeah, it looks like that where he's standing, the water is so heavy, it's like ponding up into something that if you walk in it, it'll swish. When you walk in it, swish, wash, lush, like underneath him, a bit of a wave, but we shall see. Now, our next one we want to look at is the confirmed spear. And this guy, he's looking cool out hunting, and he's got real close to a bear, as in your face, which... So he's looking like he's using this as a melee weapon, even though you think you might be able to, throw it. But it has two ends to it, if you notice here. So it's a two-ended spear. I don't even know what this is called. But I'm wondering why it has two impalements on it. But whatever it is, it looks like he's going to throw it like a javelin. So it is looking cool, and I love the bear. The bear is looking cool. I love that they've got the detail of the long claws on the bear, which we rarely see. And in MMOs, we don't really see bears climbing up, do we, like this on the 2 feet? So it is looking nice. Also, I like the difference in the trees here. Some of them have died, it looks like, maybe hit by thunder. Some are deciduous, some are all green. I do like that. And I'm just wondering, is there going to be little bugs and stuff in the little bits of grass and all that jazz? But it is looking very cool here nonetheless. So yeah, another great shot that we're getting here. This one from Steam. The next few we're going to be looking at the Steam screenshots because no one's really picking out them, but I am, because there's details in them. Now we're looking at a bow here, and it's the first time I've seen dogs in the game as an enemy, and I hate these in Dark Souls. They're a pain in the arse. And to be honest, if you're this close with a ranged weapon on wolves, you want to be rolling back at least 50 meters because they are experts, super fast melee. So yeah, this guy's going to get nailed, I'm thinking here. Although it is interesting how you're getting lighting effects off the arrow at night here. The actual flame on the arrow is lighting up the local area on the physical base rendering on the armor. Yes, it's looking good. And the physical base rendering also on the bow. Yes. Now, no one's talking about the actual animation of the weapons here, but it's going to look really cool if he pulls this back on the arrow and you see this. And also, peeps, the game is third person, but it's off to the side. It's not centered, which gives it that Mass Effect feel for me. And also, if you notice here, when he's knocking one back, it's pulling him closer to the action as well. So it's like super dynamic and cinematic. And also, if you look at these wolves, there's a good difference in them as well, because there's one at the back which seems to have longer hair on his head. So a little bit of variation even in wolves, which is cool to see. And one of these mysterious trees at the background also. I like the pillar here as well, and you've got the, it looks like some kind of magic light, this kind of blue glowing fire, which has some great particle effects coming off it, also looking cool. And also, if you've not seen this, look at the stonework. Oh my god, it looks incredible. This is not your normal stonework in an MMO. This is phenomenal work. It's actual polygons here. We're not talking any special effects here. And I wonder if it rains, does it pool up inside these? Because it looks like if the water's physical also, then it should. So yeah, what a shot. Lots to see from these screenshot peeps. Now, we've seen in other shots the two-handed sword. It's not in the alpha, but obviously they are playing with it in-house. And it looks so cool, the two-handed one. That's the bit melee I'm definitely going to roll it for. And we can also see here another type of spear used with a different end. They're kind of weird. I don't know what it is, but really cool enemy types here with the... They've got kind of like red bandaging going across their face, mummified, which is nice. And we get a really cool look here of a tent. But if you look at the ceiling, the tent has holes in it. And again, I'm talking about weather here, but will it, if it's raining, are we going to have rain coming through one side of the tent? That would look cool. If it gets windy, does things start billowing around as the wind blows in as well? Because we've got loads of fabrics knocking about, and the engine of CryEngine, and of course Lumberjack has cloth physics inside, so all good, good, good. And we can also see here a two-handed axe, or the battle axe if you prefer. Looking good. Now the enemies, though, they have the helmets of Romans, so you know, is the guy with a double axe there, is he a player who's got a Roman helmet? That looks very, very cool. But we have one in the corner there with the red eyes, definitely wearing such helmet. And yeah, this is more interesting enemies. And again, we've got great flooring detail with the wood here looking great, like it's actual pieces of wood. I really can't wait to dip my feet into the beta, guys. Ooh, yes indeed. Now this one is a screenshot which I think got pulled from E3, that got put onto the onto the Steam page, but we can see greater detail here on clothing that you can make for your character. Now the enemy here, which is again the bandage face guy, he looks like he's got a fencing sword, otherwise known as a rapier. And he's dual wielding, so dual wielding definitely is coming. Yes, indeed. And if you notice the guy behind the axe, he's only got one weapon and a free hand. So that's going to be interesting if you get a unique skill tree, if you're going one-handed with a sword type. But one-handed sword types would be a mace. Great if maces come in, or morning stars. I mean, come on, this is a 17th century, so we're probably going to get medieval weapons up the yazoo for this. But yeah, very, very cool. Again, the draw distance is very nice. I love this architecture here of them, and apparently each of, you know, you're going to have different historical people on the island, so they're all going to have their own historical architecture where they are and stuff like that. See the mountains again up in the background as well, so the world's going to look great. And we get to see some shadows here, which is going to be coming from the sun. And I'm curious about the lighting options in the game, as the game is going to be supporting Vulkan, maybe DirectX 12 Ultimate, but Vulkan anyway is being confirmed by the Star Citizen team. So are we going to get ray tracing sun options? And some people might think that'll kill modern day cards if you're giving real-time reflections for all the people in PvP. But if you think about it, World of Warcraft has announced that it will be bringing ray trace shadows in, so that will obviously have a lot of players in one area with ray trace shadows. So why can't New World do it if it's a new property? And we're getting a refresh of video cards in the upcoming video card war, which is Nvidia, AMD, and the potential of Intel. Yeah, Intel, are you really going to challenge the ray tracing war that's coming on? Anyhow, yes. Also, we can see a character, the guy that's flying backwards. It looks like he's been shield bashed. What's he holding in his hand? Is it a what's the name? It's either a dagger or what does the Raphael Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle guy get? The fork thing in his hand. I can't remember what they're called. Is he got one of them in his hand? I don't know. So yeah, more interest coming from these pictures. Oh yes. Alright, our next one, we're going to go to the big mystery one, which is the torch. And what's the skill tree going to be of the torch? This is really cool. I like the aspect of this as a weapon, but it could be just utility based, but possibly it can be used as a thrown. I don't know what you could do with it actually in melee, but I don't know, loads of questions on this, isn't it? What are you going to be using it for? I mean, he's not in a dark area here, that's for certain, but he's obviously got some big boss ahead of him. And a great silhouette up ahead on the cliff there, looking cool. And you can see here the lighting in the game is gorgeous. It really is at night, isn't it? Anyway, I just wanted to show you this one of the torch. But this guy's... It looks like he's not wearing any shoes on. So how early in the game is this guy? Or is he? I'm not going to craft. I hate crafting. I'm just going out in the world. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, for me, when I played the recent Fallout, is it Fallout 5, Fallout 4? I get mixed up with these numbers. I played like 50 hours before I picked up a quest. So if that's you, you're going to love this game, because the quests, it's not really a quest in game, is it? Trade skills here. Just want to show you this one from the recent crafting and progression dev diary. They kind of showed these pictures in 1 second flashes. But what's curious here is the tracking and skinning. Now, the tracking bit is a skill. What is going on there? Are you going to actually be able to follow footprints and things? Because tracking is a different skill, isn't it? Especially if you've played Red Dead Redemption 2. You're kind of putting bait down to lure the enemies and, you know, getting your level up to get your tracking skill up here, potentially. Just can't wait for the beta to actually jump into these and see what these mean. Oh, yes, and just look at this. You can do every skill trait. Fabulous, isn't it? I love this. I love it so much. Let's go to the next picture. Now, this concept of faction, I'm wondering, can you break faction and go and do quests for the other faction if you're collecting clothing, for example? And because that's going to be a bit like the original GTA. You know, we'll go back to the original GTA. They had faction missions in that, but you could actually, you know, just leave a faction and go do missions for the other one that he was at war with. So potentially that's something that can happen here. But here it gives you a concept of things you can do for each syndicate. You can haul goods. You can run information, maybe. A runner. Is that information? A courier, isn't that information? Courier just messaging, I guess. Transporter, what is that? Because if you're hauling goods, if you're running information, if you're carrying mail, what's the transporter? Interesting. And the blockade runner sounds great, doesn't it? Because you're setting yourself up for an ambush. And that, you know, these are potentially PvP ones, so they'd sound nice as a PvP thing. Although I'm not a PvP person myself, but the PvP in this game is interesting all the same. So there you go. That's all I want to say about this one, is these types of jobs that you can be doing. And I like the fact that there's an outfit for all these little jobs you can do, so you can really dress up for what you're planning on doing. All good. I also like these quests where, if you see here, the quests tell you how far away they are. So if you want to do a delivery one, it's a 5-kilometer delivery one. Oh my goodness! It's like you're doing a huge mission in SnowRunner. I don't know if you've played SnowRunner, but a recent game that came out, fantastic game, like a simulator. You sometimes have to move stuff across zones, and it's like an epic journey, and it looks like they've got something like this here, a 5.6 delivery. Goodness gracious me, there's no mounts in this game, so running 5.6 kilometers, that could take an hour to get there. Oh my god, you're getting a lot of currency though for that, which is great. I like this board as well because it can be pushing you into areas that you've not been to yet and telling you how far they are. I like the PvP ones as well because you're only searching here on the Seek and Find for battle plans, but are you going into an area that is open PvP on the map? So, that's definitely not in the alpha, an open bit of the map that is PvP, but that quest perhaps does that. Patrolling some territory in Windsward. Are you just walking around a perimeter? Are you going to be following crumbs on the ground? And potentially that's PvP as well, so interesting stuff. And you've got more. Go to this location and get some documents. So again, could that be PvP? Something. So it's interesting as well because they have this kind of circle, and it's got 2 pluses. The patrol territory has a plus. Is that kind of the difficulty or the group? I don't know what that is. You've got to guess, haven't you? But that looks like they've got some kind of iconography here that's not clear yet. So much to discover on the game. Now, the territory rewards here. Now you're going to want to get a house, aren't you? Because you're only allowed to put 1 item in your house, like a trophy. 1 trophy in 1 house. So each of these trophies are either going to give you a gain in your crafting or a gain in one of your weapon masteries. So you're going to want loads of houses here, aren't you, to flesh out the bonuses that you're getting from them. So you're potentially going to be in all the areas here to just build houses, because even if you're just rolling 1 type of character, mage for example, and you're crafting for that mage, then you're going to want to be getting a lot of houses there, because you're going to be going different staffs for the light, healing and the fire. You might also want to get a marksman gun because it has traps on it, so you can set up the attack on the ground and then go in with the fire. And then they fall into all those traps, so that might also be cool too. And if you run out of mana, you're going to need melee, so pull out the double-handed sword. That's the way I'm going, and if I've got double-handed sword, I'm going to have to make that sword, so I'm going to have lots of crafting and at least 3 weapons, right? And potentially cooking. You're going to have to cook as well. Oh my god, you're going to need a lot of houses. So that is going to be one reason why you leave one area to the other, because you've got the house. Right. Now, the world map, when they talk about this, they just call it the southern part of the map. The southern part of the map. So the map's really big then, isn't it? Also, they have said that naval combat will be coming here. So potentially if they expand the map, it could just be islands where you've got to boat your way across. That's going to be fairly cool, isn't it? We've got naval combat PvP is gaining in popularity, especially with games on the market at the minute. But yeah, potential is there. We may not see that until next year or something, naval combat, when they push the map out. But there is a big region here to the west of Brightwood at the top here, which is an unmarked area. It doesn't even have a colour of neutral on it. So what is that all about? It looks very mountainous though, with a mountain pass. But whoa, what's going on there? And we've also got one of these unterritorized places to the east as well. So that one has more roads and more features. So what is all that about? More interesting stuff on the map for you to follow. Again, if you play an open world game like Fallout, do you want to do the quest line straight away, or do you ignore it and just go and explore and discover things? Because that's my type of game, is just to go off and explore this open world and see what fun I can have and what can I discover out in the world. But it's going to draw me back, isn't it, to the towns to craft stuff. So but yeah, I'm not too concerned about quests not being heavy in the game. Now this is quite cool. You are going to be getting crafting gear when you're out in combat. You're going to find it in chests and stuff, and potentially you can just convert these into ignates here, or stone blocks, and and hand them in as a quest here to get some money. You might be better doing this because you're getting money, you're getting, I don't know, is this reputation? But yeah, potentially you might be dipping yourself into crafting just because you're picking stuff up, materials, and you know if you can convert these, you can hand them in somewhere. So yeah, that's going to be another way of getting stuff from the game, is combat. And you know, you don't even need to be crafting stuff per se. This is just converting one thing into another and then handing it in. It's fairly simple, but you are probably going to want to dip in because you're going to be getting stuff like that. Alright, I just want to look at this weapon tree of the musket, and you can see the trapper one on the right, which means if you're not interested in the gun because you're going, you know, if you're going as a mage or you're going as melee, then the trapper one makes sense. It really does, to set up the situation. It looks like we've got bear traps, multiple bear traps, and where you can throw bear traps. It looks like we've got some kind of mine spikes. The other stuff, I have no idea at this point, but anyway, it does look cool. I'm definitely going to go musket down the trapper route as well. And what's going to be interesting here is, are you only going to get, are you going to be able to get, you know, when you put a trap down, that's going to give you a musket experience, isn't it? So, that's all cool. Anyhow, there's more stuff like to be thinking about. Some people think that the 3 skill abilities is not a lot. I mean, if you play Dark Souls, for goodness sake, you get hardly any abilities, and that game's combat is still great from start to finish. So, you know, this is pretty good. And you probably, you know, you're only going to be musket until they get to you at melee range, and then you're going to be switching into a different weapon. If you can have 3 weapons on your character, that's 9 abilities, guys. Come on, 3's not the limit. You've got 9 here, and who's to say some weapons have 4 abilities? We don't know that yet, but some weapons might be more complex or easier to use. That's all I'm saying. Now, this next picture where he looks at the leg shot, I love these passives because they are upgrading your gameplay, guys. Upgrading your gameplay. This would normally be in an MMO an actual ability, but because this is physical based combat, it's not an ability on your bar, it's an ability on your skills as a shooter, because you have to now aim for the legs. This is phenomenal. You know, this is not you just arbitrarily getting a skill because you've leveled up, or arbitrarily gained a skill or an ability because you've paid coin to a trainer. This is you out there practicing with your weapon and then unlocking some mastery in it, where you have now used the musket so much that you've got pinpoint accuracy now, where you can get something like this. It's fantastic. The roleplay element in your character here is dreamlike, peeps. This goes beyond Dark Souls by a mile, a kilometer, astronomically way beyond Dark Souls, even though the combat is inspired by it. But yeah, super cool. Now, finally, I just want to look at the attributes here, and funny is you know, you're potentially going to be dotting up 3 of these. I think the max attributes is 60, certainly at launch, and potentially you're going to be able to max out 3 of these maybe, but you know, I don't think you can max out all of them, which is a bit of a shame. It would be nice if you put the time in there to get 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, all that stuff. Now on the bottom right here, the next milestone. What is that? What's a milestone? Can I do some theory crafting what a milestone might be? Well, the milestones might be certain characters. So, for example, if this person has Constitution 25, Dex 23, maybe that's a milestone for the, you know, the journeyman archer. If you get Dex and Constitution up to 25, and if you get that milestone, it gives you a perk. It gives you maybe an actual journey to go on. Like if you want to become an archmage, you've got to maybe look at the milestone of that and see what all the prerequisites are for your attributes. I like this concept, as it's a little bit of meta. That what you get if you play EVE Online, it has this kind of concept. So, want to see what these milestones are. We'll know when the beta comes up, but this is just early theory crafting, and it's all good, isn't it? Alright, last thing, the release date. You've got all this time to pre-order, so you know you can hang on the fence and wait to see news drip in from the beta. But I will be dipping my feet into the beta as I've pre-ordered, and I'll be doing a video on it, answering all these questions I raised today. So make sure you return for all that good stuff. If you like the video today, please subscribe. I will be looking at the new world once I get my hands in it, and certainly when it comes out releases. Total, because I'm all over this game. It's looking hot property. And the next week, certainly I'll be dropping E3 nuggets of games that no one's talking about, which I find interesting, and you might too. So yes, with that, you've been listening to PCGamer Radio. So you take care, stay safe, and bye-bye for now. Oh, and thanks for watching.